Most women have been told that men fall in love with what they see. If you're beautiful, if there is chemistry, if you respond quickly to their messages. But the truth is different. Those things may catch their attention, but they don't capture their react. Louise Hay described the ego as that part of us that mediates between who we are and how we want the world to perceive us. For a man, his ego is everything. It's how he navigates life, how he perceives himself, how he decides who to let in and who to keep out. And there is the secret almost no one knows. A man doesn't truly fall in love because of how you look or your personality. He falls in love when you touch his ego in a way that makes him feel more like himself or like the man he aspires to become. He falls in love with the version of himself that comes alive when he's with you. Once you understand how to do this, everything changes. You stop waiting for him to choose you. You become the woman he can't get out of his mind, the one who leaves a mark, even if he never says it out loud. Before we dive into the 7 points that will transform your perspective, I ask you for something. If this is already resonating with you, subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world and allows me to keep creating depth, authentic content. And one more thing, even if you're multitasking and this video is just playing in the background, let it run. Your subconscious mind is listening. Jung said the unconscious never sleeps, it's always absorbing. Let's get to the first point, and I promise you, by the end of this video, you will see men in love with entirely new eyes. First, feed his pride, not his vanity. We're told that men love compliments, and yes, they do. But if you want to truly touch his ego, to make him fall in love and not just feel flattered for a moment, you have to go deeper. There is a vast difference between feeding his vanity and feeding his pride. Vanity is superficial. It's the typical compliments anyone calls hibe, that shirt looks great on you, or you have beautiful eyes. Sure, those please him, but they are quickly forgotten. Vanity skims the surface. Pride, on the other hand, touches the core of his identity. Pride is tied to who he believes he is, to his sense of worth, his capabilities, and what he wants to believe about himself. When your words reinforce that idea, you don't just make him feel good, you make him feel seen. Instead of saying, "You're so smart," say, "I love how you notice details no one else does." Don't say, "You're successful." Say, "You've built something most people wouldn't even dare to dream of." There, you're touching something deeper because he wants that to be true, even if he's not sure of it himself. And when you see him that way, he starts to believe it. Now, you're not just another woman, you're the one who sees him like no one else has. Jung said we seek externally what we feel we lack internally. If you validate something as unsure possesses, he won't let you go easily. Because when he starts seeing himself through your eyes, you become indispensable to his ego. But there is more. Your words only carry weight if they come from someone who values herself, someone who doesn't give herself away too easily. And that leads us to the next point, because the masculine ego doesn't just want to feel validated, it wants to feel it's earned something valuable. Second, let him win you, but make him earn it. Let's be clear, men don't fall in love with what's easy. They might like what's easy, they might seek it out, but if you're too accessible too quickly, something inside them starts to fade, and often they don't even know why. The reason lies in the masculine ego, which wants strong effort. Jung said that inner growth arises from tension. In a relationship, that tension emerges when something valuable is close but not immediately within reach. It needs to be conquered with intention. If you give yourself fully without him having done anything to deserve it, if you're always the one starting conversations, always available, giving your attention without filters, his ego gets a message. You don't need to try. And if you don't need to try, you don't need to grow. That's where interest dies. But this isn't about being cold or playing games, it's about creating a space for him to step forward. Let him take the initiative. Let him pursue you. Let him feel that your attention is something worth earning. Don't always reply instantly. Don't solve everything for him. Let him feel your absence. Let him miss your energy. That small void, that silence, awakens something in his ego, a sense of, I need to do more to keep her closer. When he feels he's done something to earn you, his bond with you deepens because now you're not just a woman, you're an emotional achievement, a connection that took effort to cultivate. That kind of attachment doente break easily because it wasn't free. Anything can care is protected. But there is something even more powerful, when you don't just make him feel valued but reflect the man he dreams of becoming. That changes everything. Third, reflect his ideal self, not the man he is now. There is a version of him as shows the world, and then there is another, quieter, deeper version, the man he wants to become, the one he hasn't yet reached but lives in his mind as a possibility. The curious thing is that most people only react to who he already is. But the woman who truly leaves a mark sees what hasn't yet manifested. Louise Hay spoke of the ideal self, an unconscious image every person aspires to. For a man, that image is capped by his desire for success, recognition, and leaving a legacy. When you see that potential, when you name it and reflect it without pressure or exaggeration, you touch his ego in an entirely unique way. It's not about empty praise, it's about speaking directly to the vision he holds of himself in silence. For example, if struggling with his career, doubting his choices, you might say, you feel like you have a mind that goes beyond what you're experiencing now. It's like you haven't yet found the stage that matches you. Or, your way of seeing things isn't common, there is something in you that's simply meant for more. There, you're not just validating what it feels, you're giving shape to the ideal is still building. For the masculine ego, that's like finding a source of energy. Most people react to what it shows you. On the other hand, see what it hasn't yet achieved. That places you in a completely different category. You become the mirror of his highest version. Jung said humans become what they believe they can be, and sometimes that belief begins in someone else's gas. When a man starts seeing his ideal self reflected in you, not because you made it up, but because you genuinely see his potential, he begins to walk toward that self with more determination and associates that growth with you. Now, you're not just a woman, you're the space where his best version began to take shape. That becomes addictive to his ego. But let's go further, because many women think challenging a man pushes him away. The truth is, if done right, it can bring him closer than you imagine. Fourth, challenge him without belittling him. Men, though they don't always say it, carry the weight of proving they really know that they can, that they must have everything under control. Often, that external pressure becomes an internal battle, but they hide it because it's showing doubt or insecurity don't fit the borderless idea of a strong man. Right there, in that vulnerable part, few see Lee as an opportunity to challenge him in a way that lifts him up without making him feel small. Louise Hay spoke of transformation arising from internal conflict, and you can be that spark, not through argument, but through vision. It's not about correcting him or telling him what to do. It's about inviting him, with respect, to be more than as being in that moment. For example, imagine a stuck, directionless, complaining about his situation without acting. The easy route would be to press him, what are you going to do about it? But that phrase attacks his ego directly and triggers defensiveness. Instead, you might say, I feel like you're ready for something bigger, and right now, it's like you're living on pause, as if you know there is more but haven't taken the leap yet. That way of speaking don't confront him, it awakens him. You're showing you see him, even when it's falling, and saying, I know you can, even if you don't feel it right now. That kind of challenge don't shut him down. It opens him up because it comes from respect and fight. When a man feels seen at his lowest and not died, he starts connecting with you on a deeply emotional level, one that's hard to break. More than that, he begins to link his personal growth to you. There is no stronger bond than when someone feels they become a better version of themselves by your side. Challenging him don't mean changing him, it means believing in him more than he believes in himself. Now that you know how to inspire him, it's time to activate one of the oldest impulses in his ego, the instinct to protect what he values. Fifth, let him feel like a protector, even if you don't need one. One of the deepest impulses in a man is the desire to protect. It's in his nature, not just an evolutionary instinct, but part of how his ego finds meaning. Louise Hay spoke of archetypes, and one of the strongest in men is the protector or hero. Even if they don't show it openly, that need is there. Many well-meaning women make a mistake here. They think being independent means never needing anything. But what they don't realize is that allowing a man to step into that role without losing your own power is one of the most effective ways to touch his ego and create emotional attachment. It's not about pretending to be weak, it's about making a space for his strengths. Let him open a heart. Ask for his opinion, even if you already have a clear idea. Tell him you feel calm when he's around, not because you're fragile, but because his presence adds something real. These aren't tactics. They're doors that show him as a place with you that they can contribute to your life, not to fix it, but to complement it. When a man feels his presence as a positive impact, whether physical, emotional, or practical, his ego activates naturally. He feels it contributes, and when a man feels it contributes to your life, he wants to stay. The fascinating thing is, it's not about need, it's about giving him a role in your emotional world. The result is powerful. His identity starts to entertain with yours. He begins to feel as a purpose with you that his protection, whether through grand acts or small gestures, means something. When the masculine ego feels there is something valuable to care for, it engages emotionally, because an ego, once committed, defends what it loves. But sometimes, what impacts most isn't his role. It's your ability to step back with grace. Because in that absence, it discovers what you truly mean to him. Let's talk about that now. 6. Disappear at the right moment, make him miss your reflection. Sometimes, the most powerful way to touch a man's ego is to step away from him. When you're always available, responding quickly, initiating conversations, being present all the time, e doente experience contrast. Without that contrast, his ego doente register what is losing. And if doente feel loss, doente value presence. Louise Hay spoke of individuation, the process of knowing oneself through contrast, separation, and silence. In love, this applies more than we think. Your silence, your space, your pause create the hecho needed for him to hear your emotions, even when you're no longer speaking. When you step back with elegance, not as punishment, but from self-respect, your energy starts to resonate in his mind. His memories activate. It replaces your words, your voice, your way of looking at him. If you've touched his ego before, that absence won't be neutral, it will be profound. This isn't about disappearing to manipulate, it's about creating emotional clarity, allowing him to feel what he doesn't feel when you're always there. Because when you withdraw calmly, without drama or reproach, his ego is left empty of you. That absence sparks a desire, the desire to reconnect, not with just anyone, but with the one person who made him feel that way. Giving him space isn't letting him go, it's letting his ego miss you. If you were the woman who made him see himself more clearly, stronger, more authentic, then your absence doesn't just hit, it transforms him. And if there is one thing the masculine ego can't stand, it's losing what made it feel more like a man. But the deepest part isn't that he misses you, it's that when he returns, he feels he can be himself with you, even in his most broken version. That kind of love only grows in safe spaces. Let's move it to the final point. 7. Become the emotional refuge he didn't know he needed. Every man carries parts of himself he doesn't show, old wounds, frustrations, fears. Even the most confident man hides those. Often, the only thing guarding those hidden parts is his ego. Louise Hay spoke of the shadow, the side we repress because we believe it won't be accepted. For men, that shadow often consists of emotions, sadness, fear, vulnerability. What they crave most, though they don't say it, is a space where they can stop pretending. That's where you come in, not as a solution, not as a therapist, but as a safe presence, a place where he feels he can lower his armor without being dived. Not every woman offers this, but when they find it, they all don't tie it. You don't need to have all the answers, just don't react harshly when it shows cracks. You can say things like, you don't have to explain everything. I'm here, or I don't expect you to be strong all the time. I just want you to be real with me. When it is that his pain don't scare you, that his silence don't push you away, that his vulnerability don't change how you see him, something inside him softens. His ego stops feeling threatened, and in that moment, he begins to fall in love for real. This don't mean tolerating disrespect or carrying his burdens. It means offering a stable emotional connection, one that don't react impulsively but holds, can tense, and stays present without absorbing. When a man feels he can fall apart with you and you want to use it against him, he starts to trust. And when a man trusts, he surrenders. If his ego can breathe in your presence, if he don't need to prove anything, if he feels accepted even in his chaos, he ages you like no one else. Because in a world that expects him to be strong, you accepted him as human. For his ego, that's freedom. Many women try to win a man's heart by giving more. But the man who stays because you made him feel more like himself. When you know how to touch his ego the right way, you don't use capture his attention. You reach the part he hides, the one that longs to be recognized, respected, challenged, and accepted. When you achieve that, love stops being a game. It becomes a union. If this video spoke to you, consider subscribing. Your support allows me to keep creating depth content grounded in real psychology, not superficialities. And tell me in the comments, which point moved you the most? I'm reading.